Welcome into the Hustle Show podcast. Drew Martin, Chris Thurston, Adam Trigger, Kelly in Vegas, the eve of the tournament. Kelly, welcome on in. Not sure how long we're going to have you. Welcome to the show.
Sorry, after money shots, I thought I had my computer plugged in, and mind you, I have a bootleg charger anyway because somebody lost mine. But that's beside the point. I'm at 3% right now, and it says it's charging. And I got Ariel Epstein taking selfie photos in the background. Chris Thurston's drinking a Coors Light. I mean, are we all in Vegas or what?
Queen guest appearance.
I know. She should just pull up a chair. Have her pull up a chair.
I mean, you might as well just sit on this fucking table that's just sitting here.
That's what Chris.
We're roommates.
That's what Chris and I do, and people make fun of us. That's what we do half the time.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother thing.
We're not hot, Trig. I mean,
I don't know. I would beg to differ. I would disagree with that. But that's neither here nor there.
Of course, you would disagree. Anyway,
we're here.
Oh, we got Prop Queen too. So only 3 minutes of Kelly in Vegas, guys.
And Prop Queen. It says right now, currently my computer is at 5%. So it is actually.
Let's go.
All right, we can do a show. Here we go.
CT Bets, welcome in, buddy. What's on your mind, man?
Drew Martin Bets, good to be here. Just got into Vegas, 11:30 Vegas time, and we thought I was going to meet up with the Queen at the airport, but we forgot how big the airport actually was. We're in different terminals, couldn't get to each other, so we took different cabs, got to the Westgate. We're all checked in. We're down at the Superbook. I've already made a couple bets, and I'm feeling good. We're going to dinner tonight after the show. And feeling good about the tournament, Drew.
Yeah, sounds like you guys are going to happy hour. I don't know how you guys are all going to make it to dinner because I only had one seltzer prior to doing the show. You guys were like
seltzer.
They're called.
There's not another S in seltzer, but that's
There's
okay.
Seltzers, seltzer, whatever.
If you have enough of them.
Why is she even here?
I shouldn't be here.
I got
basketball. I only got 4% left on my computer.
Get the parlay in. I'm out. Deuces.
I did just put out a parlay on Twitter, and I'm sure we're going to get to all these games. But before we go, Brett's just sitting over here.
Well, Brett can stay. It's all good.
I mean, like, I'm not in this fucking open room recording. Like, nobody knows what's going on around, and everybody's just walking in and out, going in the fridge, whatever.
Nice room, though.
A gorgeous room. We have a conjoining room with the Queen because, well, she's not a very good gambler. So, no, I'm just kidding. She just isn't a big Vegas gambler. So I was able to use some of my points, if you will, to get an upgraded room. So you guys have nice rooms, though, too. Drew Martin's got the green screen. So happy that everybody's
my bet is made. Do you see how made my bet is right now, Cal?
I'm so proud of you. Honestly, I wouldn't expect anything less than you. But I just gave out on Twitter, so if you guys didn't see it, Vermont money line, Marquette money line, New Mexico State money line, 3-team parlay, 22-1 over at my friends at the Barstool Sportsbook. Obviously, I'm in Vegas, so I had some friends in high places put that one in for me. But those are the 3 dogs I like tomorrow. If I lose, you guys go, Drew.
Oh, okay. We haven't brought in Trig officially yet, so Trig.
Okay.
Well, listen, I do have something on my mind that Chris and I just talked about on the elevator. I think it's an absolute nightmare being on the West Coast for sports. Like, everything starts way too early, and it's just like every time I get out here, and Chris was saying the same thing, I can't deal with like 7 p.m. games starting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It just everything's off, and I don't like it at all.
West Coast games, as somebody who spent a lot of time in Florida recently, West Coast is so much better. I hate waking up at 3 a.m. in a panic going, oh, what was the score of that game? Like, I actually like to watch the games. And on the East Coast, that's just not a thing.
I need Drew and Chris to like see if there's a break the tie, or are we? What do we think?
Drew's lived in Florida and Vegas, so you tell me, Drew.
I think there's arguments to both sides. I really do. I think it's more like preference, like you're talking about watching the games. But at the same time, I'm a night owl, Kelly, and I feel like almost it's like where you spent more time in Florida. But I have lived in Vegas for 2 years. Arguments for both. I would choose East Coast, but I get your argument towards West Coast.
Fine. I'm out. Okay. So my first L for the weekend. Great. Can't hardly wait.
Oh, good stuff, awesome, guys. Well, Kelly, I knew we only get you for a little while. You got Prop Queen there. Tell her she's allowed to come in. Brett, too. Any best bets? Let's get them on in here.
Can't wait for all of them to be here. I finally got this stupid little ring light thing. See if I can't, like, not have – this is just This is a travesty.
Hey, it's okay. Hey, we're getting the information out here, guys. Promise it will start soon. What we're betting here, Kelly's already given some of it out, but a reminder, we are brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer, vivatequilaseltzer.com. Remember the coupon code HUSTLE at checkout gives you 10% off. We'll be drinking them here in Las Vegas. It is spreading like wildfire, guys. If you haven't tried it yet, check it out. Check out the website. It will ship to you. We are at Westgate, the Superbook, my favorite sports book in Las Vegas, guys. Come in. If you are in Vegas, come hang out with us tomorrow. We'll be here Friday as well. Come grab some drinks, bet the games. All of us will be there starting tomorrow, probably, noon, 1 o'clock, whatever works for you. We'll be all around the sports book, going around the horn here, talking about some games. We do have best bets at the end, guys. Looking at a couple of these games, even going tonight, we got the play-in games, Indiana, Notre Dame. We got Bryant playing as well. A little up-tempo basketball starting really just in a couple minutes, guys. So, Kelly, I don't know how much time we have left. Your battery on the computer, but anything else you want to get out?
6%. This is good news. This means it's charging and it's not going to die, I think.
Okay, so you're good for a little bit of a happy hour show here. Chris Thurston, was there a game you wanted to throw out, buddy?
Yeah, Jamar and Betts, I'm actually playing one of the play-in games tonight, and that's the late one. So I think it goes at 9:40 Eastern, and that's Notre Dame versus Rutgers. And I'm on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish -1. Just placed a bet just about 10 minutes ago at the Westgate Superbook. Jamar and Betts, everybody forgets that this Notre Dame team placed second in the ACC this year. 15-5 in conference record, 22-10 overall. They kind of just got lost in the shuffle because the ACC kind of obviously had a down year here. Rutgers started off terrible. They had a great middle of the season. They knocked off 3 consecutive top 25 teams in a row and then didn't finish the year quite that strong. They did end up winning their last 2, but I expect Mike Bray to have this Irish team ready to go tonight. This is kind of a numbers play for me, Drew Martin Betts. All the tickets, all the money really seems to be coming in on Rutgers. The eye test would kind of say Rutgers as well, right? If anybody looks at this, they're saying, oh my God, Rutgers getting 1. Drew Martin Betts, not so fast like Lee Corso likes to say it. I'm on the Irish. I think they get it done. They're going to punch their ticket, 11 seed, get right into the real big dance. Irish for CT Betts.
I like it. Rutgers has struggled away from home, CT Betts, plus the fact St. Patrick's Day tomorrow, Notre Dame playing might be something there. Big March Madness going into the tournament. God's on our side with Notre Dame. Let's go fighting Irish. Trig, what about you? Do you want to throw out a game?
Yeah, I do. I wish Chris had the big stuffed head to put on after he said that, but he doesn't. So we'll move on. I'm in the NIT tonight, Toledo versus Dayton. Game I talked about earlier. I just want to circle back and say Malachi Smith in a walking boot doesn't look like he's going to play for Dayton. So if you agree with me on Toledo, get it in now. It's probably going to move even more. This is a game that opened Toledo +1.5, flipped to -1 earlier today, likely because of that news. Go back to Dayton in the Atlantic 10 tournament. Malachi Smith goes down. Dayton blows a 14-point lead, loses to Richmond in that game. And, I was surprised to see Dayton on the last. I didn't think they were that close. I thought when they lost to Richmond that there was no way they were getting into the NCAA tournament. And then we watched the selection show on Sunday, and they're one of the last 4 out. I actually think that sort of, creates a little bit of a disappointment for Dayton that they were, they probably look back and say, man, if we don't blow that game against Richmond, we're in the tournament here. The play-in games are in Dayton, which means Dayton now has to travel to Toledo for this game. And Toledo's 13-1 on their home floor this year. I don't think you're going to see a letdown from Toledo. Listen, Toledo was really good. They won their conference, but they knew they had to win their conference tournament, and they got knocked out early. I think they've had enough time to let it sink in and regroup that they're not going to the NCAA tournament. And it's still a big deal being in the NIT for Toledo. So I think you get Toledo Rockets 13-1 on their home floor. They're an elite offensive team. I think they're going to be more up for this game. Give me Toledo to get the win.
The Rockets, the MAC. All right. In the NIT. Good stuff. I guess we got best bets at the end, guys. We got some Westgate. You know what, Kelly? I didn't notice the Westgate did this in the past in terms of really cool, different, I don't want to call them prop bets, but me and CT were talking about it in terms of you can bet what conference to win more. You can bet all sorts of stuff like Kansas over 2.5 wins for the tournament. That's really cool.
You know, that there's a lot of sports books in Vegas that really do a lot of different prop bets and fun things. And the Westgate has always put on some interesting ones. I think they were kind of pioneers in that. And that's what's exciting. You know, I've done a lot of stuff over here over the years, good friends with John Murray. And so to see them do that kind of stuff. And I know Chris wants to touch on the prop bet that Uncle Ben made. By the way, has anybody who's babysitting Uncle Ben right now? We're all in our rooms.
Amanda, I thought Queen was down there.
Oh,
I don't know.
Okay, good. As long as somebody's got him under control, it is only 3 p.m. So I'm genuinely concerned, but I am going to cash that under 3.5 dinners bet. Is going to be like the freest money I've ever had in my life.
Kelly, what do we need to look out for? Like when you say like who's watching him, what do we need to watch here? Is there something particular
he's
to
from
him?
Canada. I mean, he's like a big giant polar bear. And when he brought me breakfast to my room this morning because I had to do money shots with Megan and kind of get ready for a couple other shows, he was Miller Lite in hand, and that was at about 9:30 Pacific time. And in his justification, it was afternoon where he's from. So I'm just a little concerned that he's sitting down at the sportsbook bar by himself. But if Mrs. Bear is with him, then I'm okay with that.
Well, Mr. Bear, what are you thinking about Benny? And what bet did you want to throw out there, buddy?
Yeah, so Drew, you made a great point. So the Westgate and all these different books, they throw out some great stuff, right? So obviously we all bet a lot on a lot of offshore accounts, but when you're at a casino and a live sports book, they give you some really great stuff to bet and a lot better value, Drew Martin bets. Usually right now, if you look at your brackets and you look at the odds board, Kansas is like minus 140, minus 150 to win the Midwest. Well, Drew Martin bets, I just placed a wager downstairs on Kansas Jayhawks over 2.5 wins plus 110. So that's Kansas Jayhawks to go to the Sweet 16. Got a nice draw, Drew Martin bets. Obviously, they play the play-in game here. Texas Southern winner last night over Texas A&M. Then they play the winner of San Diego State Creighton. So Drew Martin bets, what I'm thinking is I bet Kansas plus 110 in my head versus Iowa, which Kansas would be. I think I'm a 33.5 point favorite. So that's minus 140, minus 150. So I'm getting Kansas Jayhawks plus 110 in that game. And that's a great bet, Drew Martin bets. That's a plus EV bet, and I will make that all day long.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. It's like a cool, interesting bet. You know, you wouldn't think of it a lot. So shout out to Westgate Superbook for putting that out, guys. Also, come join us Thursday and Friday. We'll be drinking Viva Tequila Seltzers here in the Superbook. And Trig, are you going to fire away on any props? Anything else you want to throw out before we get to best bets?
So I just want to say that that's such a good bet, such good value. I know Kansas took sharp money in the futures market as soon as the bracket came out on them to win the whole thing. Likely, I think there's a lot of sharp people out there that would say that they got a very good draw, very favorable draw. I'm not a huge prop guy, but Drew, I want to continue something that we kind of talked about earlier because I think it's so important to know this going into tomorrow. There's a lot of games like this is something that's going to happen in these first 2 rounds. The odds makers know that the betting public wants to bet dogs, and they typically don't want to bet dogs. And so what you're going to see is a lot of these dogs at shorter prices than you would normally see. And you've got to try to, in my opinion, like maybe those are games like you maybe pass on. We talked about Providence, South Dakota State earlier. You know, it is like South Dakota State, it could be a decent spot, but they're going to make you take +2 when you probably should be getting +5. So it's like, do you want to jump in and basically take +2 thinking this is a good spot for them to win? Do you want to go the other way and take Providence, even though, you know, maybe that's not the best bet, or do you want to just pass it? You're going to see some of these dogs that get like a lot of public steam. You're just going to not get the right number on, and it's okay to not bet them, you know, and that's just something I think you're going to see a ton in the first couple rounds. And then what's going to happen is by the weekend, once some of these like favorites have strong showings in the first round, it's going to like even out. But I think Thursday and Friday, you're gonna see the market like try to suck you in on a lot of these like shorter underdogs. That's just my opinion.
And guess what happened last year? We were all there sitting in the same sports book, and everybody said, "Oh, that's a square dog." Dog.
Oh,
Okay.
amen.
They move 2, 3, 4 points. Dog all day. Don't overthink this. They're baiting you into these favorites. They're making you think there's a ton of value on teams named Auburn, Kentucky,
Yep.
Duke, Wisconsin, Purdue, Iowa. I'm telling you right now, I think the next few days, the dogs are going to be barking.
So, Kel, let me follow. I just want to counter that, right? Like, I'm not saying go out and bet Providence or Arkansas. I'm
Well,
saying,
read the comments. You're basically telling people right now they should be capitalizing on the favorites. That's what they're
no,
asking.
no, I'm not. So let me clarify. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying you've got 16 NCAA tournament games per day. I'm saying maybe look toward the dogs that aren't like for example, I'll just throw it out there. Montana State not getting as much play. There's some of these other ones, New Mexico State. There's some of these other ones that are very live that are not South Dakota State, which everyone see. This is my point. The point is, I'm not saying South Dakota State's not a good bet and it's not going to win, but I'm saying you probably should be getting 4.5 or 5, not 2. That's the problem. Vermont, you probably should be getting 7, not 4.5. So it's it goes back to that thing. We always talk about, who cares about CLV? We just want to cash tickets. So if you're confident and you're just man, this is a great matchup. I think Vermont's going to win this game outright. I'll take 4.5, then go for it. But you have to know that with some of these, that the books are already shading you out, right? They're going to force you to take a bad number to be on that game. I'm just saying beware of that. I'm not saying go and bet the favorites.
I don't think Vermont's a bad number at all. First of all, the line should be 4 based on KenPom. Our good friend Kenny White makes the game 5. I got 5 on Vermont, but I wanted a little justification. Our good friend Joe said on Monday he liked Vermont +6. I started looking at him a lot more. I think that they baited you into paying a premium early. Sharp money came in and realized that. That's why the lines moved down. The public's not betting Vermont. That's not public money.
I'm just saying, it's going to happen on a lot of these games. You just have to be you have to be cognizant of that. South Dakota State should not be +2. They should probably be +4, +5.
And who's power rating?
It just there's just no way they should be +2 against Providence. But
they're +2 because KenPom made them +2. That's why the line 2. That's why bookmakers put the lines out just like they do every other week. That's why if you have a subscription to KenPom, you notice that's almost always the opening number. That is such a respected number that's where you have to realize where sharp money and stuff's coming in. It hasn't moved off that. Do I think South Dakota State arguably might be a square dog? Sure. I've seen a lot of people on it. We haven't seen the line come down, but I'm telling you, I think that was a great opening number. I mean, I need to get the current updated ones.
That's my whole point is that the odds makers are just beating you to it, kind of. They're putting out numbers that are tough to bet.
Yeah, but you're telling me that South Dakota State should be 5. In what world? They're going to get absolutely clobbered if they hang a 5 with South Dakota State.
Oh, yeah. No, I would agree with that. I'm agreeing with you that would be the case.
I'm asking you where you thought the number 5 came from.
I'm saying I would.
This is still a top 25 defense. I mean, KenPom has them in his top 75. They're one of the best teams in effective field goal percentage. They can shoot the 3 ball extremely well. Now, their defense is suspect as hell. That's why I don't know if I'm going to get to the window with the Jackrabbits. It has nothing to do with Providence. I think Providence superseded expectations. Everybody knows that this team is 25-5. Nobody's going to want to bet against this team. They're going to walk up to the window at any sports book in the country and simply say, oh, I only have to lay 2 with Providence.
Well, that's where this whole thing came from for me. Is because I wanted to bet South Dakota State, and I feel like I'm not getting the right number at 2. That's where this whole thing came from. Because of everything you just said, and I'm just man, am I going to really take 2 when I feel like I should be getting more? That's just my whole thing with a lot of these first round.
I think it's a trap line from hell. And while I haven't bet the Jackrabbits yet, probably come tomorrow morning, I'm going to have a +2 in my pocket, and it might even get bet up higher. I mean, that's the beauty of certain books, especially in Vegas, right? They don't move necessarily off the market. They move off themselves. And I think that if somebody walks into a big name casino here in Las Vegas and they bet $1 million on Purdue -2, we may see a 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, the line hasn't moved to 1. I think we may see it hold steady at 2, but I'll probably be on South Dakota State +2.
I like it. Great breakdown, Kelly. Hey, yeah, go ahead, CT. I have a follow-up question
Drew.
too.
Because I wanted to go back to our good friend Kenny White, because I had him on my radio show last night, Sports Map Radio, and he actually makes the Arkansas Vermont game too. So that's how much he likes Vermont, which is scary
love Vermont
for me. Because we know Trig and I'm really high on this Arkansas team. We're holding an 81 ticket, and he said CT. He said off air. He said, "I'm being honest with you. You might want to lay a little bit off right there on that ticket. They got that."
And the reason is it's just a horrible, horrible matchup for Arkansas, because Vermont is disciplined. They're seniors, and they're too disciplined to run with Arkansas. So they're going to make Arkansas play in this half court, ugly type game. And Vermont's offense is efficient, and Arkansas really doesn't defend that well. So it is just, you want to talk about a bad draw and not getting the ideal first round opponent. That's Arkansas. Yeah, maybe CT and I will go for a little middle tomorrow and take the points for Vermont, and then just hope Arkansas squeaks by, try to cash both, or just stay alive in both.
Let me bring up the other side of the argument, though, guys. What about, you bring up who's going to control pace. I think that's going to be a big part of who wins this game. What makes you say they are going to play in the half court, Trig? I mean, Arkansas technically is the more talented team from the SEC. The America East is a bottom 5 conference by Ken Palm's ratings.
It's just because I think Vermont is more disciplined than Arkansas. I think Arkansas has freak athletes, and they can out-athlete teams, and they are, I mean, that's not a team they could beat any team in the country. Yeah,
I think
exactly.
Arkansas, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I think Arkansas was similar to Texas Tech. They both just came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden they're on everybody's radar. Whereas you mentioned, Drew, Vermont, people are going to go, who the hell is Vermont? Our SEC, better athletes. Eric Musselman's an awesome coach. I'm not saying that teams look ahead in the tournament, but do you think Arkansas really is excited about playing Vermont? I don't think so. Versus the flip side, Vermont's like, all right, we got a chance to play spoiler here. And I think those, seedings, a lot of people look at that 12-5. I think that 14-3 is also something worth taking a look at for these dogs to pull possible upsets.
Yeah. Go ahead,
Drew, just to support the Arkansas side, I mean, you can make a good argument for Arkansas. Like, Vermont got bullied by Providence and Maryland, which was the two sort of comparable teams to Arkansas with big time power conference athletes. And that was not a good scenario for Vermont, because I bet them against Providence and they got destroyed. And Maryland sort of asserted themselves in the second half and won that game by pretty comfortably. So, I mean, could that happen again?
Trigger, the point you make destroyed, because I just looked, they lost by 10 and lost by 9.
So the Providence game though was bad. Providence just destroyed them, and they squeaked. They made it interesting at the end. I know I was on Vermont plus the points in that game, and they couldn't handle Nate Watson, and they got murdered inside. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but we'll see. I mean, it's just interesting conversation. And that's the beauty of the NCAA tournament. The committee they're putting these matchups out for a reason. It's intriguing stuff. So it's a good conversation. It's good to talk about.
Absolutely. I mean, in actually us breaking down the Jackrabbits, South Dakota State, and Vermont, it's kind of similar profiles, both dominating in their conference. Now they're going to step out of conference. How are they going to fare? You can make arguments for both sides. I think, Kelly, you brought up some good ones here. Towards the dog, not necessarily a public dog, maybe a sharp dog here. Sharp angle, guys, on these smaller conference games. Make sure to check out WagerTalk live odds screen. That's where we're getting the most up-to-date free live odds in the business. WagerTalk live odds screen. Also a bunch of free plays up there, guys, for this weekend. Check it out, guys. A lot of people hot. A lot of those handicappers doing well. And like always, brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer. VivaTequilaSeltzer.com. We get the coupon code HUSTLE. Takes 10% off. We'll be drinking Vivas this weekend, right? CT Bets, they get in. I know they
get in tomorrow, I believe. I talked to the owner. They're in tomorrow at the Westgate, and we will be able to drink them. And anybody else who's coming to the Westgate to enjoy the games and some beverages will be able to buy them as well. Drew Martin Bets.
Awesome. And we got a bunch of people in the chat box, guys, going live. WagerTalk, YouTube, also wherever you download your podcast at the Hustle Show podcast, and on Twitter. So please like the content if you are. Feel free to come in on the chat box and fire out what you're looking to bet this weekend, who you agree with here in the arguments. We got Carlos coming from Central America. Welcome in, Carlos. We got a lot of people here from Las Vegas, East Coast as well, giving a lot of opinions. What's better, East Coast time, West Coast time? I tend to think it's where you've spent more time in your life and got used to, but hey, we got arguments for both sides of the coin here. Going around the horn, I know we got best bets coming off, but did we kind of leave anything out? Anybody else want to throw any bets out for this weekend before we get to best bets? All good?
Yeah, well let's throw out again, right? So we're here at the Westgate. We're going to be down in the clubhouse tomorrow. So swing in if you're coming to fire a wager and have a Viva with us and hopefully cash some tickets, Drew Martin Bets. I know I got a 2-pack I'm giving out tonight in my best bets, Drew Martin Bets.
All right, a little 2-pack right here for best bets. And Kelly, did we need to throw out anything else with tomorrow, with Friday, all the action going on with WagerTalk and the party here at Westgate?
Yeah, so basically we just figured out it's going to be a 2-day WagerTalk party of sorts. 1 day for the hustle, 1 day for puck time and WagerTalk today. Everybody's in town. All the Canadians are here. So, that's going to be really bad for my liver. But basically come to the clubhouse at the Westgate anytime in the next 2 days. Friday is technically from 2 to 7. And that is where, WagerTalk's buying drinks, doing like a meet and greet, if you will. But, if you show up tomorrow, we'll be there, I think, starting around 9:15 is the first tip-off tomorrow morning. And it's going to be a long couple of days. But come by to the Westgate Clubhouse inside the sports book. Say hi. Drink some Vivas. It's going to be a great time.
Oh, it's going to be unbelievable. Absolutely. And we got some guys in the chat box talking about Mountain West. Hey, did anybody take anything away from the play-in game, Wyoming, Indiana? Because I try to use that stuff in my handicapping going forward in the tournament. I actually, watching it back on replay, guys, I thought Wyoming kind of killed themselves. I don't downgrade the Mountain West teams too much, and I don't upgrade the Big Ten teams too much. Do you guys agree with that sentiment?
100%.
Okay.
Wyoming squander. I mean, if they,
typically their life.
It was so bad. So many turnovers, so many missed opportunities. And I'm going to throw this out there. So Indiana had a really brutal, they went and traveled literally last night after the game, had to fly out to Oregon, and they're playing tomorrow. So, I mean, you look at so I have a friend that's a Seton Hall graduate. So he always keeps me up to date on Seton Hall. And I remember a few years ago, he was Seton Hall played in the playing game, or they had an early game and they had to go all the way to the West Coast and play Gonzaga in a first round game in a 6-11 matchup or something like that. And they got murdered. And I just remember him flipping out, they screwed us with the travel, the quick turnaround, flying all the way out to the West Coast. So Indiana didn't get out to the West Coast until 4 a.m. last night. Now they got to play St. Mary's. And I've talked about St. Mary's. This is somewhat they're not a normal team. The way they play is so different from the way most teams in the country play. So Indiana to have to prepare for them on a quick turnaround could be tough. So look, I think St. Mary's could be a decent bet coming up here.
Yeah, absolutely. I could see that happening, Trig. And also, it's a tricky handicap betting on these teams in the first four, because we just saw last season, UCLA, go first four to Final Four. Could it actually be an advantage? I'm kind of with you though. It's a tough trip.
Drew, it seems like every year we get one that goes off and makes it to the Sweet 16. But maybe it's CT's Notre Dame Fighting Irish, because I'll tell you one thing I learned about last year. Don't get into this this conference was bad, this conference was good. Because remember, the Pac-12 last year sucked. That conference was so bad during the regular season, and somehow here we are in the tournament, and here's Oregon State in the Elite Eight, and UCLA's in the Final Four. So don't write teams off just because they came out of a bad conference. Notre Dame's a good basketball team. And if they beat Rutgers, they'll be able to get by whoever they play in the next round. So yeah,
I honestly wouldn't even say that it was a bad conference. It just had a down year.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of great teams that came out of that ACC. That ACC championship was great. Virginia Tech looks like a pretty good damn basketball team right now. Mike Young has them playing pretty good ball. So I wouldn't call them the ACC a bad conference, just a down year, Drew Martin Bets. But yeah, don't sleep on those ACC teams.
I love that you brought that up, CT Bets, because as we're talking about the Pac-12 last year and UCLA making that run, I was about to bring up the ACC. A lot of people think is so down this year. I don't know. Maybe that's the next team kind of checking that box, the next conference, excuse me. Also,
Yeah.
the Duke, you could see the Duke Blue Devils getting some calls going their way.
They'll definitely get some calls. I just think that they could win a couple games, Drew Martin bets. I just think I've talked about this on a lot of shows that the hype and the whole swan song for Coach K is a little too much for these kids. I think these are all pretty much one and dones year in, year out for Coach K. It's like that again this year. And I think that the scenario is just too big for them and the spotlight has gotten too big. And we kind of saw that in the ACC championship. They got exposed. I mean, Virginia Tech, the game wasn't even close. They blew them out.
Virginia Tech dominated.
Yeah.
It was bad. And just like a week and a half before Coach K's last game got dominated by North Carolina at home.
At home.
I mean, listen, these are the problems with the Kentuckys, the KUs, the Duke, the Villanova, these blue blood type programs. It is Final Four or bust every single year. And when your team is not living up to that hype, I think it can really mess with you internally. And I think that's what's wrong with the Blue Devils. I am not saying that they're going to lose that early, but I wouldn't be surprised to not see them make the Elite Eight this year.
Yep.
Yeah, and to your point, Brandon Katz in the chat box. Yeah, the officials got Duke past UCF. I remember that game.
Great point, Brandon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching at the bar. What a miracle how they ended up winning that game.
Yeah.
The game was over.
What was that really tall guy's name for UCF?
Taco Fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, Taco. He was
like
great.
He used to not play for the Celtics. He used to be on the Celtics roster. I don't know if he still is, but he
was on the bench, but he was enjoyable. Yeah. He was like 7'1" or something.
Yeah, ginormous.
Oh, yeah, it's like this big, like tall, not tall, and that skinny. He was great, but yeah, you're right. UCF got jobbed, absolutely jobbed.
Hey guys, so watch out for that this tournament, guys. We'll get final thoughts from the crew and best bets as well. Again, feel free to fire out what you're looking to bet. Also, if you're watching on replay, feel free to reply in the reply section below on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Please smash that like button, guys. And if you're in or around Las Vegas, come to Westgate Superbook tomorrow. Come on Friday. Really come whenever you want, but we'll be there the next 2 days, pretty much all day, acting like full degenerates here, sweating out the games, drinking some Viva Tequila Seltzer, vivatequilaseltzer.com. Coupon code HUSTLE takes 10% off, shipped to you. So, guys, let's go around the horn here. Feel free to take your time with the final thoughts. Kelly, if you can entice Brett or Prop Queen to come in and add a best bet, more than welcome.
Ariel. I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea.
It was just
I should probably figure that out. They're probably having fun without me. But that being said, you guys already know my best bet. It's Vermont, and I love that Chris just solidified that with Kenny White's numbers. I started looking at this Vermont team early on, and I'm going, something's wrong here. And now, White, no problem. They play in a crappy conference, but I think that this is an Arkansas team that superseded expectations. I think the bookmakers are overvaluing them here, and I'm going to take the +5 and at 4.5. I like it even more. I love that reverse line movement because I'm telling you right now, that line is going to be around the bar tomorrow at the Westgate, and every single one of those people is going to be betting Arkansas. They're going to be betting Duke. They're going to be betting Kentucky, and the bookmakers have baked that into the cake. I just wanted to address one thing in the comments. Eric's asking, do you need tickets or anything? No. Show up to the Westgate. We're going to be in the clubhouse. Come in, say hi.
Yeah, don't need a lot there. And Kelly, great point on Arkansas. I mean, a lot of people remember that run. What was it, 11-12 against the spread, cashing tickets? A lot of people on that.
And I like that, actually, what Chris said about this Rutgers team. This Rutgers team made me a ton of money. And then what do we see? Some regression to the mean because bookmakers started overvaluing. They were like the Big Ten killer at home. On the road, they had some nice road upsets, but not near as dominant as they are at home. And I think that that's where we're going to see in tonight. I lean Notre Dame with Chris. I don't know if I'm going to get to the window with this team. I know Adam's got a best bet. He and I are on the same side there. Dave Koken agrees with them. Don't give it out on the show. Go to WagerTalk.com.
Well said. From Kelly in Vegas on Twitter at Kelly in Vegas. Trig, your name was brought up, so your turn, buddy.
Yeah, I just want to say too, I agree with Kel that Vermont's probably like against the number, the right side there. Like I'm shaking in my boots with that Arkansas ticket. I just hope they get through. And Drew, I told you, you're a Burlington, Vermont guy. I think you love the city. It's a great spot. I go there quite frequently. CT went to college there for a while, so I wouldn't mind seeing Vermont get it done. I told you I liked Toledo earlier. I'll throw another one out there for tonight. This just missed my card, but I think Northern Iowa's got value in the NIT. St. Louis, man, I made a best bet on them over the weekend against Davidson. They didn't show up at all for that game, and they look just so dejected there that I gotta wonder how kind of motivated they are in the NIT laying 4. Dude, Northern Iowa, I actually thought the Missouri Valley might have gotten 2 teams this year. I was kind of a little bit disappointed that they didn't, because I really felt that there was a really good conference. Northern Iowa, believe they were your regular season champs there. So getting 4, I just based on the fact that, I have those teams right around equal. Like Northern Iowa can play. AJ Green's a killer. So I see some value there. Northern Iowa +4 in the NIT tonight. And Toledo, money line was the best bet for me at WagerTalk, 4% place. So a couple NIT plays for you guys tonight.
I like it. Trig, and on Twitter at TopFlightSI. He'll be around Westgate Sportsbook. CT, I want to leave you for last because I want to get your opinion on my best bet. I know you know the team very well. I'm looking to fade Iowa State, guys, and go on LSU -4. Iowa State has scored 36 and 41 points in 2 of their last 3 games offensively. Not many teams worse. They're actually just 8 and 12 this calendar year. I don't remember a profile like that of recent time anyway, a team that really fell off the cliff towards the end of the season. They find themselves in the tournament. I'm looking to fade them against the #1 steal percentage team in the country. Yes, LSU has their own problems. This is kind of like the issue first round game here, both teams with issues. But I actually, listening to the coach stepping in, his name's Nickelberry. He's had 2 prior head coaching experiences, and interestingly enough, one as an interim head coach. He seemed to be pretty positive with and the kids seem to be kind of buying in here. So motivation, not really a part of first round kind of handicap. And obviously they're motivated here. I think we get the more athletic team, the better free throw shooting team, the team that overall, the better point guard, senior point guard, and Xavier Pinson is healthy right now. And Iowa State's point guard is a freshman. And I think that has a lot to do with their turnover issues. So I think LSU turns them over, gets a lot of easy baskets on the other end, and a good free throw shooting team to cover the foul fest territory of -4. So give me the Tigers. Go Tigers for my best bet. CT bets, any thoughts on that one? And where are you going?
I want to kick it back to you because you always host and you never get questions, or rarely get questions. So I do a show with Megan. Obviously, she's a huge LSU fan. She mentioned Will Wade obviously getting fired last week. Do you think we see it happen in the NFL, right? Where coach gets fired in the middle of the season and the next week the team comes out hard to play. We rarely ever see a coach get fired in the middle of the season and his team is still in the tournament. Like, that's just almost unheard of. How do you think that's actually going to play out for LSU? Do you think that they're going to get up and rally around this new coach? Have you heard anything? Because Megan was saying she's heard some really great things out of Baton Rouge. The comment section was disagreeing. They said, no, they're hearing things are in disarray.
Well, Kelly, it's interesting you asked, because last night I was up until 3 a.m. Pacific time. So as you guys are waking up on the East Coast, I'm still drilling out college basketball articles. And one thing I did, like at full degenerate, is watch his press conference for 18 minutes and watch this guy. And when I looked at him, I'm like, man, this is a young dude. I don't know. And then sure enough, as he's talking about it, Kelly, he's like, hey, I've been a head coach twice. I've been an interim head coach. I've had success. I've not had success. And he was going through and he's like, I'm 57 years old. I'm looking at him. I'm like, you're 57? You look like you're 35. And he was like, the kids are buying in. We're ready to rock. He's like, we're going to get back on defense. People were drilling him with, hey, what are you going to change? Because that's really why I was watching, being a primarily
this is his opportunity to prove he deserves to be head coach, and they keep a lot of those guys intact. Is that what LSU is trying to do here?
I mean, actually, I don't know. That would be probably a good question.
Because it's always interesting when someone's auditioning for a head coach, right? Like, again, there's different situations here, and that's where I'm trying to figure out, because I would love to fade Iowa State tomorrow. I'm with you. Iowa State has just had a disaster into their season. I think they've cashed it in. I don't expect to see a lot from the Cyclones team. Outside of defensively, I do think that they're a solid defense, but offensively, that team is a dumpster fire.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was looking to do, Kelly. In talking about his press conference, because I was, as a totals better, I'm like always looking for change and what they're going to change tempo wise. And a reporter actually asked him that, and he's like, I'm keeping that to myself. Like, we're not even talking about it. It's just like, yeah, it kind of hit me as maybe this is a bet on situation. So that's why I fired away on the LSU.
Yeah, I mean,
Tigers.
I went with Megan, and because we do our money shots parlay at the Barstool Sportsbook, and she's like, "How about instead of laying the 4, we'll just do LSU money line?" I said, "Yeah, I don't see LSU losing to Iowa State. I just see a very team that's in disarray. And while LSU may appear that way, I don't think that they are. I think they had a really solid season, and this team deserves a lot of respect, even though their head coach got fired."
Yeah, and Kelly, when you look at their losses, you've got like people out there got to remember that was when they were banged up. Most of them. I mean, this team started off 17-1. Their only loss to Auburn. That was when they were healthy, and then like 4 guys went down. So it was like their B squad for a lot of that. So a majority of their losses are not with the team, the roster that they're going to be trotting out there in the first round. So I think that's all kind of buy on here for LSU, but. I don't know. Hopefully that got your question answered. I don't know. But CT bets, man. Finish us off. Best bets, final thoughts for the show.
I'm with you guys on LSU. We don't have to go into it, but Kelly hit it perfectly. Iowa State is decent defensively, but they struggle very much offensively. And LSU, even though they struggle offensively, they have some scorers, and I expect them to score versus Iowa State. I actually have LSU going to the Sweet 16. So, but we'll get into my best bets here. This is one. If you follow me at CTBet16, I gave this out on Sunday when the bracket was released, and that is Virginia Tech plus 2.5 versus Texas Longhorns. I made Vatek my best bet last Saturday. Drew Martin bets, as you know, on this show in the ACC championship. And I also said sprinkle on the money line. And I expect Mike Young's team to come out guns a-blazing. And boy, did they come out guns a-blazing. Hunter Cantor, what a game he played. If you didn't know his name, get to know his name right now. Darius Maddox, the kid who banged the 3 at the buzzer to win versus Clemson in the first round. Get to know his name right now. Virginia Tech wins this game outright, Drew Martin bet. I'm a Big 12 guy. Kelly's a Big 12 girl. This Chris Beard team is going nowhere. The expectations have come nowhere close to what these Longhorn fans have wanted. They got the transfers. They had kids stay. Ramey, it had Adams. Who's the kid I'm trying to think of? And they just have not got it done this year. Not got it done. Virginia Tech gets it done. Gets the win on Friday in the first round. Drew Martin bets Virginia Tech number 11 seed over the Texas Longhorns, the number 6 seed.
Like it, CT best. Can we get a hula in the hotel room, or does that need to wait for later in the weekend?
I'll do it in the Westgate Superbook.
Okay. When that
give him 2 more Coors Lights tonight, and we will see some hula during the halftime of Wright State Bryant. And I guarantee we'll see some hula dances. Depending on you guys have the over, right?
Tonight in the play-in game, yeah.
I thought so.
No, I missed the number on that.
Okay, I thought somebody had said like over 152. It's now what 155.5. So I'm late to the party, unfortunately for myself.
Yeah, that one's tipping off actually right now. So
yeah, I think it's already gone. I think it's already started.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah. And yeah, I want to hit the comments real quick, Drew Martin bets, because I was getting a lot of slack last Saturday during championship week when I gave out Virginia Tech to win the game, and people told me I was crazy. So Justin Casey, thank you. No problem. You just solidified Virginia Tech for me even more on Friday. I appreciate it very much. Thanks for watching.
A little trash talk is all right in the chat box. Come hang out with Ski Profit. We got the whole group here in the Westgate Superbook. Adam, Trigger, CT Bets, Kelly in Vegas. I am Drew Martin. Guys, brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer. VivaTequilaSeltzer.com. Go check it out, guys. It's a really good drink. We'll have it here at the Westgate. Check out WagerTalk.com, guys. A lot of free plays up for the tournament, NIT, NCAA tournament, the whole bit. CBI, all available there, and the best free live odds in the business. So please smash that like button. Feel free to reply below, guys. Hey, if you're tailing on the best bets, best of luck to you, and enjoy March Madness. We will be back on next Wednesday. 1 week off. We'll be back next Wednesday. So guys, best of luck with your bets.
Chris really wants to do the show Saturday morning. And I think that may or may not be a bad idea. So we're gonna regroup. And we'll definitely tweet out if we're going to do a show Saturday morning, guys. Let's see how Thursday and Friday pan out. And see how my liver's doing, actually, because that's going to be the most important part.
Stay healthy out there. Cash them.